Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Research Bureau ships. I've made dedicated videos on every single one of these ships that are available for research points. And now it's time to do a tier list and put them in order of which ones I personally would like to get. These are all the ships here, all that are available. And there's some very interesting options here for research points. And very quickly, before we get to these ships, I gotta let you know how people get research points so quickly. If you haven't seen it before, I do try and include this every once in a while in these Research Bureau videos. It's when people have a lot of free XP, they're able to use the Harugumo line, which is the cheapest XP to go from tier 1 to tier 10, and use free XP without playing a single ship, research again all the way to tier 10. If you do that every 3 months, you get this 2x bonus, so you get double the value out of your free XP. They're essentially converting free XP over to research points. And then they'll just let that stockpile. So depending on the user, this little 2x can go to 4, 8, 16. I've seen upwards of 20 or 30 times multipliers just from someone having a ton of free XP and resetting every once in a while. That's the idea behind it if you're very experienced and have a lot of free XP. Otherwise, please just play a line you enjoy. It's going to take you a lot of time, and you may as well have a good time while you're grinding out this Research Bureau. The other thing to consider with the Research Bureau is that you need to have 5 other tier 10 ships to actually unlock this tab in the armory here. We also recently had a price change, so now everything is 62,000 research points for tier 10s, 43,000 for tier 9s. And now let's get things started. If you want more information on each one of these ships I'm about to talk about briefly, you should really check out the dedicated video on that ship. There will be a playlist on my channel, and I should be linking that below as well for you to go check out. Very good dedicated videos on each one of these things. For now though, we're going to do a brief overview of the playstyle and then put it in the tier list. To start with, Illinois, one of the most unique ships in the entire game. You combine cruiser turrets on a battleship hull. Very, very different playstyle than almost anything in the game, and I really did enjoy this ship a ton playing it. It's less unique now that Irresistible brings a similar playstyle, but perhaps controversially, I like Illinois more. Just to spoil a little bit for Irresistible, I guess. But I really like this ship a lot because it's got rather poor flight times. You're essentially gaining Des Moines guns on an Iowa hull, and that is very powerful. But the flight times are so bad on this ship that you're incentivized to push up. This isn't a ship that wants to be kited at the back of the map and just spamming HE from back there. This one also gets the improved pen angles like we see on the Des Moines line with that AP. So it's really fun to push up and brawl with this one and then use that devastating AP at closer ranges. You get 12 guns on this one, and while your armor is all right for your tier, bit of a large superstructure, 38 is nice. Getting a little power crept these days, but 38 is still nice. Crucially, your Citadel is actually below water here. So it's a whole deck lower than Iowa Citadel, I believe. So you're not likely to get Citadeled at closer ranges. Longer ranges, there's some plunging fire that can still sometimes get you. It's quite rare. At closer ranges, though, you don't have to worry about that quite as much. The Illinois here is very, very fun to play. And I like it so much, I'm actually going to put it up in A tier. This one might be a little spicier, okay, but just for me personally, this whole tier list is just my opinion. Definitely comment down below your favorites and which ones you would like to get first, as that's a great way to get a diverse perspective on these ships if you're interested in them. But for now, Illinois goes in A tier for me. I really like this ship, and it's just a very different experience having cruiser guns with a battleship hull. A lot of battle cruisers we see bring battleship gun caliber onto cruisers, and I find that to be inconsistent. You have the inconsistent armor of cruisers with the inconsistent dispersion and DPM of battleships. This flips it around. You get the consistent armor of a battleship with the consistent reload of cruiser guns. It still has battleship dispersion, so it's not quite cruiser level accuracy, but it's very fun. I love Illinois. Hey, speaking of battle cruisers, let's look at Siegfried next. And for the exact reasons I've already mentioned with Illinois, the armor here is a little bit lacking. 27 gets overmatched quite a lot. So a ship like this one, you would think wants to push up and brawl it out with its excellent upper belts. It's got some turtleback as well that allows it to bounce some battleship shells. Harder to citadel this one broadside, although it is still possible. Takes a lot of damage. We also only get a 30mm deck armor. That means 457mm guns, which there are a lot of at high tier these days, can overmatch through it. The benefits of Siegfried, though, is that you get 380mm guns with cruiser dispersion, which means this ship, in theory, should be incredibly devastating on flanks, finding broadsides, even into battleships. 380mm guns have enough punching power at mid-range to get through a lot of battleships, and at closer range should be able to citadel almost every battleship. You also get some close-range torpedo defensive power there, or aggressive power. It's very useful to have these torpedoes, but to get in that range, it is a little bit tricky. Siegfried, I think, plays best on a flank. Certainly, finding those broadsides is required. Spamming HE out of it, I highly would not recommend that. You want to be AP focused, finding broadsides, and hopefully getting those citadels. I just find that 6 guns... Well, I think you already know how I feel about 6 guns in this video game. If not, welcome to the channel. You're probably new here. I just find them not particularly consistent. Even if on paper you have good dispersion, the lack of shell volume results in inconsistency, in my opinion. And it goes in D tier. Again, it's not bad, okay? But for me personally, it's not one that I actively want to play. So if I was looking to go get a research bureau ship on a totally new account, Siegfried would be among the last ones that I would look for personally. Up next, we got the Paolo Emilio. And we've had 3 extremely different ships, very unique playstyles already. That's the beauty of Research Bro. There's a lot of ships here that aren't very vanilla. They're all unique in some way. And because of that, if any of these ships look interesting to you in the dedicated videos, or even just hear me talking about some of the playstyle, it's definitely worth getting it if you're interested, because the playstyles are so unique. Paolo fits that perfectly. This is all about YOLO torping, rushing in, trying to dev strike people through your smoke, as well as your excellent speed. It's a very, very fast destroyer. It's got only 6-kilometer close range torpedoes here, but they do a ton of damage. The ship has these fuel smokes, exhaust smokes. It allows the ship to run at full speed without getting spotted. You have to watch out for hydros on those YOLO pushes and radars, of course, but when you make it work, this ship is incredibly fun. It's just the meta is so passive these days, and there are a lot of hydros, and there are a lot of radars. It's tough to make this ship work in random battles. But if you want to play a lot of specialized game modes, ones that aren't like randoms, Unbreakable Line is honestly perfect for this thing. The respawn mechanic, I think I got up to 85 knots or something like that on respawn. There's a buff that it gives you, speed to just sprint back into the battle. Very, very fun ship to play in those game modes. But if you don't play a lot of those game modes, this one is very hard to make work in random battles. Your guns really aren't that great. 11.2 second reload time here. You do get some sap, and it's got 38 mil pen, which is nice. Decent alpha damage there. But the DPM is just so low. This is one that you really want to focus on those YOLO torp strikes and trying to figure out how to make those work. And again, in random battles, it is very, very difficult to pull off. Perhaps that's a skill issue on my part, but I just don't find Paolo Emilio that enjoyable to play unless it's those dedicated game modes. And since I play a lot of random battles, especially because I'm playing mostly to make YouTube videos, random battles is the most common, I find Paolo to be not that interesting to me personally. But that doesn't mean it's not an interesting ship and not worth getting. Again, this is my personal preferences on this tier list. I can easily see Paolo on a lot of people's lists going way up to S tier because it's so unique and so fun when you get it working. Now, Van Speijk is a Dutch cruiser, and that means we get airstrikes. You only get one of them here, but the unique feature of this one is that you get 15-kilometer airstrikes on a tier 9. The reload's not too bad either, but you only get one to charge up at a time, so you're always needing to use it on cooldown. The range allows you to often have a target in range, but leading these strikes at longer ranges can be quite difficult. Pen is 36 millimeters, so we don't see the extra pen like we would have on the PVO at tier 10, although that one is a steel ship, so very different resource here. But 15-kilometer flights, similar idea there. But crucially, this ship has pretty solid main guns. It's an up-tiered Harlem hull, so we get ourselves surprisingly alright armor, upper bell tier 50mm, 50mm icebreaker here as well. 30mm deck armor, 25 bow, upper bow, that kind of thing. So there's some overmatch issues on this one to worry about. But at closer ranges, it's hard for even some battleships to do good damage into you here. This one can play very aggressive. These 203s also get cruiser dispersion, where on the standard line, Harlem, and up to Guden, they all have battle cruiser dispersion. So quite inconsistent in comparison. It's a good ship, but I think the main line, if you're going for this airstrike gimmick, is just going to be better. This one is more of a gun focused with a somewhat alright airstrike when you can make it work. It's just hard to lead these ones. The gimmick here feels like the main line pushes a little further into that airstrike gimmick, if that's what you're interested in. If you want a more gun-focused version, though, with that ability to airstrike sometimes, this is a good option to go for. I had some great games in it. Its concealment is absolutely wild. Allows you to push up, be very, very aggressive. But that doesn't mean it's all that interesting to me for research points. Still quite expensive. At least it's a tier 9, though, so not nearly as expensive as those tier 10s. But again, that main line just does the gimmick better. So if I'm looking for a unique reason to play this one, it's to play a main gun focused cruiser with some airstrikes. But if I want to play a main gun focused cruiser, I'm probably playing a different line altogether. I'm playing Dutch ships primarily to make use of those airstrikes. So in my opinion, for me, that's why it drops down. And I'm not particularly interested in getting it if I was to restart on a new account. Now then, on to a ship that surprised me a lot. Hector, I had a great time in this ship. It is a smoke cruiser with some incredible torpedoes. You could think of this ship as a way lower DPM Colbert that does get a smoke and a bunch of torpedoes. 12-kilometer torps, over 16,000 alpha damage. You get 16 total. It's solid torp power. Its concealment is excellent, and being a Commonwealth ship, we actually get these crawling smoke generators. It's a good ship, and if you're at all interested in a high DPM, or this one is reasonably high DPM, light cruiser role, this one is worth picking up, I think, especially if you find ships like Colbert hard, okay? That's going to be the main problem with a Colbert is you don't have a smoke to get you out of bad situations, so playing that one is insanely difficult on positioning. This is a vulnerable cruiser, though, as we can see here, the Citadel well above water. It's a pretty large ship. Its maneuverability is okay, but getting caught by battleship shells is pretty easy with this one, so you got to be a little bit cautious. Firing these guns is a little bit awkward. Their firing angles, to get all of your guns on target, you kind of have to be going in this bow-on direction here, so otherwise, if we're kiting, again, we lose one of those turrets. When it was first introduced to the game, I thought it was just kind of bad, but the more I played with it for this video, the more I enjoyed it. Check out that dedicated video if you want to see more on it. But that doesn't mean I would instantly want to go get it if I was regrinding for Research Bureau ships. That's because I love Colbert so much, okay? The playstyle is similar, just Colbert packs it to the extreme with DPM. It's harder to play, but I really love that challenge of Colbert. Hector's really good, though. If you know you're not great in light cruisers and you want to try playing light cruisers some more and you want a unique one to look at, Hector is a good option to go for, as you still get those torpedoes. You can do some stealth torping on flanks, and you have that smoke to farm from when you get the opportunity as well. Another recent addition to Research Bureau ships is the hull. What happens if you just give a destroyer Des Moines guns? Well, bad things happen for enemy cruisers and light cruisers. Having one of these things pop up on your flank is terrifying. You get a best of 6.5 kilometer detect. I mean, they're Des Moines guns on a DD. It's crazy, okay? This ship also gets a ridiculous amount of healing. You almost get 60,000 HP fully built out for heals and HP on this one. You also have a 15% engine boost, so while Sherman is pretty slow and difficult to dodge with, when your engine boost is up, this one can dodge a lot of incoming fire. And even if it doesn't, it can heal back from that incoming damage. This is such a difficult ship to deal with on your flank. The HE is not bad either, 16% fire chance. This is an insanely strong farming destroyer. AP is excellent, HE is excellent. The only downside is the dispersion can feel a little bit trolly, all right? On paper, this one says it's destroyer dispersion, and yet when playing it, it feels like the dispersion trolls. Perhaps it's because I'm trying to hit citadels with the AP, and we only get single gun turrets. We only get 3 of them, and the reload is so much slower than Sherman. You don't get as many hits on target, it feels like. And when they hit, though, the damage is crazy. This ship does actually have a little better shell velocity than Des Moines 2. It's wild. This ship is absolutely wild. If you're interested at all in gunboat DDs, this is one to pick up, okay? It's a bit like Elbing, except you trade the smokes for the ability to heal through almost anything. And you also get some really good HE to DPM enemy destroyers as well. And for me, it kind of fits that gunboat open water playstyle that I seem to enjoy so much. Or perhaps only can do, if you guys saw that Sherman video. I was struggling with Sherman, man. Maybe it's because I was so used to the new American destroyer line with their bursty smokes, but having the ability to just always be open water, know that's exactly what my ship is good at, and then have the healing to come back from riskier plays, Hull is awesome. It really fits my playstyle quite well. I have great games in it a lot of the time, and being able to sneak around the map with Des Moines guns, 6.5 kilometer detect Des Moines guns is crazy. So it would be one that I would be looking to get if I had to restart again. It's unique, it's strong, and it's really, really fun to play. Now for Sevastopol, it's a little bit similar to Siegfried, okay? Here's the commonalities. You get 380 millimeter guns, this time at tier 10. Oh, it also has cruiser dispersion. Interesting. We also have a bit of weakness on overmatch to our armor. Our bow is a little bit vulnerable. Our citadel, reasonably well protected, but this time no turtleback, as you can see here. This ship, though, its unique gimmick is that it has a ton of healing over an incredibly long time. It's not even that much better than normal healing, really, just because it takes so long to get that HP back. This is a really good heal in theory, but a lot of damage is bursty, and a lot of that comes down to this 2-minute cooldown on this heal, which was recently buffed. It used to be longer, actually, which does help it out now, but still 2 minutes between heals, right? I talk about that with British battleships like the Conqueror, for example, recently. We talked about its super heal being incredible. Having that much healing is crazy, but it's the downtime that can get you taken out because the ship relies on that heal to be survivable, and this one and its armor is definitely in that situation. It's interesting to push up with as you have pretty solid detection. It actually gets better than that with a commander build, so I'll just chuck one on to get concealment. Yeah, 11 kilometer detect is quite solid. You also get a 20% engine boost, this time with essentially half uptime when you take the engine boost mod here. So pretty much 60-second uptime, 60-second downtime. Really nice. Makes the ship quite maneuverable. That cruiser dispersion is awesome. You get improved pen angles on the AP as well, slightly improved. Should make them a little bit more consistent. But into tier 10 games, 6 guns. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Sevastopol. It's just not for me, okay? I think this one is a little bit more interesting than Siegfried, but for me, I just really wouldn't be that interested in getting it. I'm just a little too traumatized by 6 guns, I guess. I had some decent games, but it took me a little while. The guns trolled me more often than not, I found. So it's going to go in D tier. These are just really not interested in getting it if I was to restart and regrind for these research bureau ships. The Slava. What an excellent tier 10 battleship, all right? This one gets you insanely good dispersion, especially at long range, but even at close range, the dispersion is quite good here. Went into more detail on that in the dedicated Slava video. You only get 9 406s at tier 10 with not the best reload. Turret traverse is abysmal. Your armor is actually not that great for a tier 10 battleship. You don't even get a 32 mil bow here. The mid plating is decent, 32 here, and then very strong belt and surprisingly strong citadel here as well. But the key of this ship is insane accuracy. So if someone goes broadside to you, more than likely Slava's going to dev strike it, okay? This is true consistency out of battleship main guns. You lack overmatch, you lack reload, you lack DPM, you even lack alpha damage, all right? The alpha damage here, even with heavy AP on 406s, doesn't even get close to Montana 406 alpha damage. So a little bit weak on its alpha on these shells, but considering the consistency of the dispersion, I think it makes sense here. Slava is well worth getting if you want a consistent punish on enemy ships that go broadside to you in particular. This ship has good concealment as well. It's reasonably quick. Turning radius is pretty bad, so you don't want to get caught broadside in this one, of course. But it fits the meta so well, guys. This one is just incredible in today's meta. You get a standard repair party here, or damage control party, so you have unlimited uses of it with a longer reload compared to the standard Soviet battleship line. You only get 3 repairs base, though, so a little bit of a challenge there, lacking in healing. But I found this ship to be surprisingly tanky, as it looks very similar to a Kremlin. You do lack the exact armor profiles, so the actual values go down a little bit. But the ability to throttle juke with this one, you still have that incredibly strong engine power, and with prop mod, you can speed juke quite a lot, especially at those longer ranges that you're typically going to be playing at. So pretty easy for me. Slava goes in A tier. This is definitely one that I'd be interested in getting if I was restarting my account and grinding again for these ships. Just that consistent accuracy is something I have to have in my account, man. It's so good. And another ship that I think I quite badly underestimated when it came out, Druid here. This ship gets 127mm guns, AP only. But bow on, you can charge down enemy destroyers with this one, and there's not a lot that they can do about it. For a lot of ships, they got to go reasonably broadside to fire all of their main guns, and if that happens, this AP is going to absolutely chunk through their health pool. This ship gets a decent amount of HP to start with, but crucially, you do get some healing here, and the bursty smokes that we see on the British destroyer line. I love these smokes so much, allowing you to smoke up for a brief time, or use it to get out of a bad situation, and then the smoke comes back quick enough that you're ready to go again for another aggressive play, or to farm again from another position. We also get these short-range hydros, which are just so convenient for charging at enemy DDs that are likely trying to torp you out, because your gun power is just that strong that they need something to give them an edge, so to have these hydros is so convenient. As always, when there's healing on a ship, I'm just going to enjoy it. I probably play too aggressive for ships without heals. Maybe that's a weakness of mine, but anytime there's a repair party on a ship, you know I'm probably going to have a good time with it. With a best detection of 6.6 kilometers, we're not out spotting that many DDs. Typically, it's going to be other gunboats. Although it's pretty scary to be in like a Colbert or something like that, and a Druid outspots you, and then you go broadside to him, and then this AP chunks through you. Meanwhile, it's just sitting bow on. It's not the smallest DD, but this is a pretty small target to aim for, and there is some saturation that gets to work here with this bow. Not like French saturation, but every ship does saturate eventually, and this one in particular can be very difficult to take out. Druids can be very annoying to fight against, and I had a good time with it overall. I know when it first came out, I did not enjoy this ship very much, so it's been a little while for me to actually play it some more, and I had a good time with it. Although it still goes into B tier only, it's not a particularly interesting DD for me personally. I think there's more interesting playstyles that can even be found in the regular tech tree, and there's much more interesting research bro ships for me personally that I would rather go for if I had to regrind again for these research bro ships. So that's why Druid ends up kind of right in the middle. Am I a little too quick to judge sometimes, guys? Gibraltar? I'm pretty sure I didn't like this ship when it first came out. I think I was wrong. These guns are absolutely crazy. AP only. Yes, it's got a giant citadel. It's British cruiser, okay? It's got not the best range. It's got a little bit slow shell velocity. The turning radius, it's okay. Concealment, it's okay. But these guns, this AP smashes light cruisers, destroyers, short fuses, improved pen angles, big alpha damage. It's fun, man. When you get this thing on the right flank, when you get to push up using its smoke screen, it's got healing. It's even got a decent hydro here to use. It's a strong ship, okay? It's not the most survivable if you get caught broadside to battleships, but this 40mm deck armor can bounce some AP at longer ranges if battleships are taking pot shots at you. And I think I just undervalued how good and consistent these main guns are. Not having HE means you can't burn down battleships as easily. But the amount of damage that this AP chunks for, and trying to angle to this, it's very, very difficult to angle to this AP. It is so, so good. I think I underestimated it, and I'm glad I got to play it again this year and make this video, the dedicated video, and then for this tier list video too. It's a really good ship. And yet I put it down in C tier. What? How does that make sense? I think it's just, for me personally, it's not one that I would want to grind Research Bureau for. And that's what this tier list is. There's plenty of good ships available and ones that I'm going to put low down. Gibraltar, Paolo, I think fit this pretty well, where they're solid ships, fun, interesting, different playstyles that you may love and put up in S tier or A tier for you personally. But for me, I don't know if I would want to regrind for research points on a new account for Gibraltar or Paolo, for example. There's better options for me personally. Up to Brennus now, we get ourselves 305mm guns with cruiser dispersion. And we only get 7 shells though. A little bit inconsistent there at times, but look at our reload. Under 12-second reload on 305s. If we're looking at the Marseille line, Brest, for example, their reloads get quite long. Sure, they get a reload booster, but it's a long reload anytime you get above heavy cruiser level guns, get into these battle cruisers with over 300mm of caliber. High alpha damage, good AP, it's decent HE as well, so you get really nice reload and cruiser dispersion. I find it to be not as good as Henry. I really do think Henry DPM clears this by a lot, and this ship does not get a reload booster and it does not get a hydro. So if you're playing Marseille line or Henry line, they both get those as options, that unique French gimmick, I guess we could say. And this one trades that away. And that feels a little bit weird. Maybe I'm overcritical of that, and Brennus is decent, but the guns are strong. It's fast enough to get on a flank very quickly. Here I was trying a lighthouse build, which I would not recommend, by the way. You want to be getting the AP into a flank. It's just lacking some of that unique French flavor, I guess, with a reload booster. Maybe I use the reload booster as a crutch too often. But for me, it just feels like it's missing a little something, just a little something. The actual gun angles are actually really good when kiting, especially. 13-kilometer best detect. It's fine. It's okay. 20 kilometers of range, though, is very nice for those more passive games. Your armor, though, it's an old cruiser design. Henry's been in the game for a very, very long time. So a lot of 30mm plating, which used to be pretty good back in the day. I think when Henry... Was Republic even released when Henry was released? I don't remember. If so, it would have been just Republic and Yamato that were overmatching it back in the day. Now, though, there's a lot of 457s, man. And then your Citadel is also quite vulnerable. This ship does have an above-water Citadel. But there's that French black hole armor that we talk about from time to time. And that's where Henry kind of originated that Republic line as well, where there's a ton of spaced armor here. So there's a lot of pen checks and angle checks where you may pen through some of it, but not quite get through everything. And then you get torp protection hits. Its speed is really nice. Its ability to flank is really nice. The cruiser dispersion, AP, very, very nice. But Henry already does that quite well and has better HE, ability to farm down battleships from range while retaining a reload booster. Marseille also gets the reload booster. That unique gimmick, I think, holds Brennus back for me, especially if we're grinding for research points to get this one. It's a little bit like Van Speijk in that regard, where we miss out on the gimmick or the flavor of the tech tree line in favor of slightly more consistent main guns in some ways. And because of that, I think I'm just not that interested in it. So for me, I'll put it down a little lower on my tier list, as that's what this tier list is all about. Which ships would I get personally if I had to regrind, start a new account and start regrinding for Research Bureau ships? Brennus, just personally not that interested in. Up to Sicilia now. This tier 10 Italian battleship is very good. You get 16 guns with decent accuracy here. You get SAP secondaries. You get yourself a really nice exhaust smoke. This is way better than what we find on the main line with Colombo. It lasts longer. It's a larger smoke, and the cooldown is much shorter, and you get more consumables. It's just really, really strong. The concealment here is decent. The dispersion here is actually the same as Colombo, but we don't have the legendary upgrade to run on this one. So if you're trying to run main gun builds, Colombo's just better at this point. That legendary upgrade is so powerful. And Sicilia, it's got some problems with its rear turret firing angles at close range too, if we want to do the brawling thing. These secondaries with sap do hit really hard when they hit, but they don't have any improved accuracy. We looked at the new Colonna. It was also a BA Binna, I think was the name of that one recently. Tier 8 version, bit like this one. Similar smoke, longer cooldown, but also had sap secondaries. That one, though, gains battle cruiser dispersion on those main guns. This one does not have that, but it makes up for it in volume of fire. And it's a good ship, okay? It's not a bad ship. The armor here is quite good. 360 turrets in the back allow you to stay very well angled. As long as you stay outside of 6 or 7 kilometers, the firing angles forward here is like 22, 23 degrees. Really, really nice. As soon as you get within that range, though, it goes down to like 50, 40, 50 degrees of broadside, which is not very good. This ship is terrible at kiting, though, by the way. The Colombo as well, just because of all these little shot traps. Something to make note of here is there's a lot of little stepped portions here that do catch a lot of shells. So you do want to be more bow on if you're going to be brawling with this ship. As soon as you get caught broadside or even stirred in, it is a little bit weaker. This ship does not get sap on its main guns. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. So you'd think it's a little more focused on its main guns, and yet Colombo has the more OP ammo type of sap on its main guns while also being more accurate with the legendary upgrade, the unique upgrade. And the reason I'm bringing that up so much is unique upgrades are for research points. So I think it's totally fair to talk about Colombo with its unique upgrade, considering we're already talking about research points, and you should have a lot of tier 10s by the time you're thinking of research points anyway. So if you're looking for main guns, just get a Colombo with the legendary upgrade right now, unfortunately, because I think Sicilia is very interesting. I personally like this ship a lot. I don't play it a ton, but I do like this one a lot. I prefer ships without sap on their main guns. I think it's just a ridiculously powerful ammo type. Too consistent, too much alpha damage. So I like this better than Colombo. It's just, I gotta let you know that it's not as good as Colombo, all right? And now I've kind of undersold Sicilia relative to its placement on my chart, hey? There's context, right? There's subjective opinions here, all over here, when we're talking about favorite ships and which ones I would personally get. Sicilia is one that I would be very interested in getting. That's why I put it high up. I like it, but that doesn't mean it's as good as Colombo. And for most people, you should just go get yourself Colombo and that legendary upgrade. I like Sicilia. I like trying the secondary build, even though I know it's not very good. I like trying to get into brawls with it. I think the smoke is really fun. So I would be looking to get this one again if I had to restart and regrind for Research Bureau ships. It wouldn't be the first one, but it would be up there for me. And Vampire 2 is a bit of a clone of Daring. That's the tech tree tier 10 on the British line. And that's going to knock this one down a little bit because the playstyle is so similar to Daring. But the ship gets reload, okay? The DPM on this one is much higher than Daring even. We thought Daring had high DPM? No. Vampire 2 actually clears it. We do lack a torp launcher, though. We only get one torp launcher instead of the 2, but a little bit more range. The damage output on them is quite nice as well. Concealment maneuverability is very, very good here. 5.8 detect with this level of firepower is absolutely amazing. We're not the quickest, but we have solid turning circle radius and rudder shift times. This ship gains an engine boost, though. If you've never played with a British acceleration ship with an engine boost up, it's impressive. Even though it's only an 8% engine boost, the acceleration juking you can do with this one is absolutely awesome. You still have a hydro, but instead of the short range hydro like we get on the Daring, we get an actual 5-kilometer hydro and a crawling smoke. So you can crawl around into cap zones and hydro push people out of the caps. It's fun when you make it work, okay? As soon as the radar pops and then you're spotted too, it's a bad time. But when you make that work, it's really, really fun. And Vampire 2 is a solid tier 10 DD. It's really, really good here. It's just that there's a heal on Daring. So you know me, with heals, I'm going to prefer that ship more likely. I will sacrifice a bit of DPM and take those heals. Especially because the smokes I also prefer too. The crawling smokes are fun, but the bursty smokes, I prefer that. It's a good crutch for my playstyle, okay? I think that's a good way of putting it too. I'm not patient enough, I risk too much, and then I need those smokes to help bail me out. Where these smokes last a really long time, and the cooldown is a long time too. Unlike a normal smoke where you pop it, and then that cooldown starts very quickly after you start your smoke up. This one, that cooldown timer has to wait the full 112 seconds, the action time of the smoke, to even start. So there's long breaks between actually having your smoke. And no heal. It's a downside here with the Vampire 2. And that's why it goes into B tier. It's just mid, it's decent. It's actually very good. It's just the problem with it is there's a better version for me and my playstyle available in the tech tree. And you don't have to grind a bunch of research points to get it. So for me, it's not one I'm particularly interested in, although I do have it, as the crawling smokes and those hydros are really, really fun to use, and it's a slight tweak of that daring playstyle. The extra DPM also can go a long way too. And the new kid on the block, Irresistible. We looked at this one very, very recently, and because of that, I don't have as much experience in it compared to the rest of these ships. Even Hull, which is still quite recent too. I've played much more of that one than Irresistible. Part of that is because Irresistible is new, and it's also kind of boring. I'm not that interested in this playstyle, man. Cruiser guns on a battleship hull, like Illinois. But this one has a gigantic citadel, and the guns have really good velocity, really high DPM, so you're incentivized to spam HE from the back of the map. Does that sound like me? I don't think so. So I'm not that interested in this one, actually. It's really strong. It's very powerful, possibly even overpowered, okay? You get more DPM than cruisers at your tier by a lot. Like Goliath can't even hold a candle to this as far as DPM goes. It does have battleship dispersion, but you get 16 guns. The firing angles are poor though, so at closer ranges you do have that weakness. This ship also has 32 everywhere, so you don't even get the 38 like Illinois has. The Citadel, of course, as mentioned, is way above water on this one too. You don't have improved AP pen angles here either, so less focus on AP, more focus on HE relative to Illinois. But it's a Commonwealth ship, so we get the crawling smoke generators. We do get a decent amount of healing here as well. A lot of range, a lot of shell velocity to use that range too. It's just I would prefer Illinois. If I'm going to run the battleship hull with cruiser guns, I'm going to play one that has a little more armor, has the more interesting AP angle at closer ranges. I can push more, I can get into fun DPM brawly situations with Illinois where Irresistible, I feel like I'm misplaying when I do that because I should just be playing a little further back and just spamming HE out of it. It is really, really good though, okay? So I still gotta put it like B tier or something like that. I would still probably end up getting it if I had to start regrinding things, but that playstyle is just not for me, okay? It falls down a little bit. It is unique. Battleship hull, cruiser guns, very unique. Illinois is like the only other thing we see in the game like it. Interesting that you have to get a research bureau ship to have that playstyle. Didn't think of that earlier, but here you go. Live thoughts as we're going through this, but for me, Illinois clears Irresistible just on playstyle alone. Not only that, it's a lot cheaper too, being a tier 9. Now, most of this list is not really that ordered. They're in tiers of whether or not I would like to get it, how quickly I would like to get it. But these last two are special, okay? Both of these ships are incredibly powerful and so much fun. Colbert would be my second pickup, all right? If I was to start a new account, brand new account, get myself 5 tier 10s, start regrinding them to get research points to get a ship, Colbert would be my second pickup, all right? And I would really try to get it because Colbert is so much fun. It's ridiculously difficult to play. It gets punished by everything. This ship has essentially no armor, 16 millimeters, 21 millimeters, except it's plating here. Suddenly you can bounce some battleship shells. It's hard. It's risky. Go watch John the Ruthless if you want to see a pro to go do it. I try my best. But you can brawl battleships. I've seen him do it. It's insane. Okay, go watch John. That'll be my recommendation with Colbert. If you want to get it and you want to play it, go watch John. And then despair because you'll never be that good at it. Myself included. I'll never be that good at it. It's fun, though, to try. The DPM here is wild. Lack of range can be a downside, but it also means when you're firing, you don't get spotted by anyone who's outside 13.8 from you. So there's some interesting positioning you can do with that. Your speed is decent. Your rudder shift, turning radius are decent with this build, which we'll get to in just a second. 12.1 kilometer detect is not amazing, but that's because I'm running a lighthouse build, okay? If I'm going to play Colbert, I'm going to try to be John the Ruthless. It's going to fail, but I'm going to try my best, bro. I don't know if this is the exact build he runs or not, but very damage focused, as you can see here. Very damage focused. Not taking conceal, not taking super. Probably instead of top grade and outnumbered, or definitely instead of outnumbered, take conceal if you're starting out. Maybe get yourself a superintendent too for the extra heals. Would be good ideas. Play more around islands, get your concealment down a little better. It goes well under 10 kilometers, by the way. It has a decent amount of healing. You get 4 heals here with this build. You get up to 5 with superintendent. Lots of heals. If you can manage to survive getting one shot, it's not a ton of base HP. 20% engine boost when this is up. You have a lot of dodging potential as well. Hydro's nice to have, but the DPM is where it's at with Colbert. Nothing really comes close, and because of that, the ship is so unique and so fun. It's so hard to play though. So there it is, first S tier ship, all right? Second favorite research bureau ship. And of course, we all know what that leaves next. Ohio would be my first pickup. I would regrind to get this one very quickly. I am someone who loves brawling it out, but I also need consistent main guns. Ohio delivers me that. This is a very tanky ship, although 38 mil is getting power crept a little bit. More HE, more dive bombers, airstrikes are starting to pen this these days. So maybe it's not as tanky as it has been in the past, but it's still very, very solid. 457s here, you get 8 of them, decent reload, but more importantly, good dispersion. You get the American dispersion upgrade here with 2.0 Sigma, I believe. Decent conceal at 14 kilometers. The ship also can go into secondaries if you want to, just because our accuracy upgrade isn't in the 3rd slot. Notice all we're taking is either range, AA guns mod, or main battery turret traverse. So you can pretty freely take secondary range since your accuracy is over here. And that allows us to run hybrid builds where we focus mostly on tank and main guns, but we can pick up some secondaries and have 9.5 kilometer secondaries with very good accuracy, get that improved base accuracy that we see on the Schlieffen line, for example. And then we have better armor than something like a Schlieffen 2, and the fast cooldown heals. I love healing. It allows me to play aggressive, push, overcommit, and not get punished too hard for it, or at least not die instantly. And the 40-second cooldown here allows me to live so many situations where I otherwise wouldn't in almost any other battleship. Pushing in with this one is pretty good as well, thanks to its smaller superstructure. We talk about that a lot when we're thinking of GK, Preußen, things like that. German battleships that you would think, oh yeah, that's the brawling battleships. No. The superstructure gets smashed for like 10 to 20k from battleships all the time at close range. Ohio doesn't suffer from that quite as much. This ship also gets a buffed up rudder shift relative to Monty. Monty's stuck in the Stone Age with like 22-second rudder shift still. Insane these days. So Ohio does have that advantage. The turret traverse on these 457s, 30 seconds. It's faster than some Des Moines builds if you're taking some reload or anything like that. That's kind of wild. Allows you to react to a lot of different situations very quickly. Ohio's a menace, man. At mid-range, even longer range, the shells are a little slow, but mid-range, devastating firepower. And then at close range, it's tanky, tough to take down. Secondaries, get some supplemental damage there. Mostly around fires, good fire chance on them. Not a lot of HE pen there, but very nice to have at those very close ranges. And that'll finish out the tier list for me, okay? If you skip to this point, shame on you. I see you looking at those time. I'm just kidding. I put the timestamps there for a reason. You should check out some of the more specifics, okay? Because this might be too hot of a tier list for you. Some hot takes here. Paolo Emilio, a D tier? How is that even possible? Clueless YouTuber. There's context, okay? This is a tier list purely around which ships I would like to get if I had to restart on a fresh account and regrind everything myself. Some of these ships are very good, but they just aren't a playstyle that I'm particularly interested in having again. Paolo Emilio, I think, fits that very well. This ship is crazy. It is so strong. It is really fun when you get that gimmick going. It's amazing in alternative game modes, like Unbreakable Line that's available right now. but I play a lot of random battles, and the game is very passive these days. I'm going over Paolo again specifically because I think that's the one that's going to trip some people up here if you skip to this point. Otherwise, there's the list. I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe there's some things that would move around. As always, I can change my opinion on ships. I hope I'm allowed to do that after playing with them some more. I had a great time in pretty much every one of these ships. Some of them took a little longer to get some good games in them, but definitely go check out the dedicated videos on each one of these if you would like to see more gameplay, obviously, but more specific thoughts on playstyle and problems, difficulties the ship has in the matchmaker these days, captain builds, all that. And before I go, I need to tell you guys the difference between a premium ship and a special ship, all right? Because that is something to consider here too. I've purely talked about playstyle because that's really all that matters to me these days. But if you're wanting a credit earner, you need to go tier 9. It's a full premium ship. And the way you can tell here is by the icon and this wreath here. Both are gold. That is a premium ship. Notice Ohio here, the wreath is gold, but it's a silver or white battleship icon. That's a special ship. Tier 10 are special ships. We say premium just to shorten it. It's easier to call these ships premiums, but there is a difference. There's an internal credit multiplier that you don't have with a special ship. Here's all your benefits of a special ship. You get reduced service cost, you can move commanders around, you get increased income here with a permanent bonus linked to it. That's the economic bonus thing. You just get this. But that is not the same as an internal credit multiplier. That is different, okay? And then you have the permanent camouflage. But notice as soon as I click here, look right here, by the way, there's a new icon. More credits on top of this permanent bonus thing. So Illinois still gets the permanent bonus over here, but the difference is you get a multiplier. So that's why tier 9 premium ships make more than tier 10 special ships. We call them all premiums, but there is a small difference there. Tier 9 and below are full premiums with credit multiplier. So something to keep in mind. Maybe that'll sway your decision between a tier 9 and 10 if the price difference already didn't do enough of that. It's nice to see them all standardized to the same price, all these tier 9 and tier 10 ships. I do think that's really interesting. I think we could have just gone with 40,000 and 60,000 though, don't you think, Wargaming? A small criticism here, given that we typically get research points in instances of 10,000 or 20,000 as a multiplier, unless you have some clan bonuses or anything like that. Come on, all right? Like, you don't have to nickel and dime us, right? At this point, I think I'm rambling too much. So again, here is the tier list, my tier list of this one. The ships I would personally like to get. Colbert, Ohio, definitely. 1 and 2, Ohio first, Colbert second. And then I would go down into A tier and probably pick one of those up. They're not in any particular order after that for me personally. Mostly, I would stick with S tier and A tier to get, and then B, C, D. I wouldn't be as interested in regrinding for it, just because I don't find them that necessary for me personally to pick up if I had to start over again and regrind myself. Make sure you leave your preferred Research Bureau ships in the comments down below. Let me know which ones you like the most. Which ones do I get wrong? Well, wrong. It's a personal opinion, right? So how wrong can it necessarily be? But let me know your opinion in the comments down below. And again, if you want to see more on any of these ships, I have that full playlist of dedicated videos on each one of these. Definitely go check that out. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.